Isn't it funny how every 911 that you drive is specific, interesting, has their own quirks? Yeah, I mean, the power on this is modern power.
Yeah, modern power.
This is modern power. I'm here and I'm about to drive my first 993. This is a 1997 Carrera S. You guys may have seen my friend Derek's 1973 and a half, a 911T. And now we're gonna look at his 993 here, so follow along.
It comes in Arena Red. This is the Carrera S.
Arena Red.
Yeah,
okay.
so this was the Arena Red was the color on those old turbo commercials, Kills Bugs Fast. It's a really famous Porsche one, but that was the turbo. So the 2S was a model that had the turbo wide body, so the rear wheel wells are a little bit wider. So I guess the story goes Porsche at the end of the 993 model had a bunch of turbo bodies that they weren't selling. So it became a no-cost option if you wanted an NA two-wheel drive. You could just check a box. And it was a no-cost option because they were just trying to get rid of the shells before the 996 came in. And
so the early 993s didn't have the wide body on the 2S?
They didn't have the 2S. I think 97, it was only made for 97, 98.
Oh, okay.
So the earlier, like 95 and 96, didn't have an S version. And those were OBD1, which is like the maintenance system, like the computer maintenance system. So the OBD2s came later. And then they had, I think, a little bit, I think they had the Vario RAM or something. And then they had the wide body option for the 2Ss. Whereas the earlier ones.
Let's go to the back and look, because the back of this car, I was driving behind you today.
Yeah.
The back of this car is so good.
I mean, I think that
So
the thing with the wide bodies is it's very subtle, but it's different, right? Like, you can tell that it's something a little different in terms of the wideness. So this is basically a turbo shell.
Right.
Two-wheel drive NA. It's a little, you can get it to slide a little bit better on the back end. I did on this one, the K&W V3 suspension. Old suspension was a little weathered and tired.
So it's been lower?
It's been lowered. It was slammed when I got it with some springs, but I put the K&W V3s, which are great. Some people do the PSS 9s or PSS 10s, but I like the K&Ws.
So did it come with the turbo twist wheels?
Yeah. I think those were factory wheel options.
Okay.
This one came, when I bought it, it came with the Aero Kit 2 spoiler, which is like kind of this two-level spoiler. And that was the body, that was the spoiler that was on the Turbo S's, this body kit. It didn't come with this front lip spoiler, so I bought this lip spoiler afterwards. It's an OEM piece. So this is this is basically a factory Aero Kit 2. It's not factory optioned as such, but all the kits are OEM Porsche parts.
Did these side markers come clear?
No, so that's after. I bought it this way, but they're actually normal. I think they're red. No, they're amber, and then it has like a little black bumper piece here.
Okay. These
are some turbo version of these fogs. So this is a little bit upgraded.
Looks really good. Let's talk about the almighty polarizing lights.
The lights? Are they polarizing? No, people like them.
I think they're polarizing.
Really?
I think people hate the 993 or love the 993.
Really? I think, this is when they started, swooping the lights. It has a little more of that kind of like wind tunnel look. Yeah. So it starts to go back a little bit. The 964s were a little bit more straight up, right? So this is...
Because when you think about it, we had, how many decades of the same light pattern?
Yeah, that's true.
And now all of a sudden we're throwing this out, and people, I think, are losing their minds. But
it's not 996, but
You're
I
right.
think, you know what I'm saying, like people, which, say what you say, I think the 996 has its charm.
How many miles does this baby have on it?
97,000, so it's a driver's quality. I think I got it with about 84,000.
Okay.
Out of Marin up in at High Tech up in NorCal.
And what motor does this have?
This has a 3.6 Vario RAM. I don't know.
Any idea what the
horsepower is? Shoot, I don't know.
I know it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but
I'll put it in below. Let's look at interior.
All right. So it's stone. I don't know. It's not stone gray. Marble gray? Stone gray? I don't know.
All right.
It's gray interior. I got the
Neat.
the
really
GT the GT shift knob. I think that's a GT shift knob. RS shift knob? I'm not sure. Someone check in and tell me what it is. But
yeah.
I got a short shifter from the guys at Pfister. So the old shift knob sat high. I had to get a lower shift knob, which I think this is this RS shift knob, so it sits lower, it sits the right side, height. Got the Continental radio like my other ones.
Yep.
Got
so this has got a G50 in it.
Yeah.
Right. You can tell here you've got like this area is totally different that you see starting from 964. You don't really have this happening in the earlier cars.
Yep.
Other than that, I noticed that we've got an airbag here.
Yep.
That started with I think 89 or the 90. I can't remember which one it is.
I think 964s had airbags. Yeah. Before that, they didn't have it.
You do have a sunroof.
Yep. Super small sunroof.
Very small sunroof. Yes. Very small sunroof. You got the Continental and the newer design of the air conditioning.
Yep. AC works in this, which is nice.
Other than that, it feels very 911.
Yep.
And have you done anything else?
So I got the K&W V3 suspension upgrade. I did Pfister Stage 3 exhaust. So I think when we do that later, we can strike it up and you guys can hear it. It's definitely the louder of the exhaust, but I think it suits the car pretty well. The short shifter with the shift knob. Other than that, it's pretty much stock.
Yeah. Anything to the motor?
No, motor's bone stock.
What about this? Did this come with the aero kit?
No, so this I think came 97, 98. So before that, they had the basket handle, right, which came over here and had a little third brake light here.
Yeah.
I think DOT mandated like a third brake light at some point. So,
higher.
or no, they just need a third brake light. So before it had the basket handle, right, and it was on the actual deck, and I think they moved it up there to clean up this. So I think the 90, 97 and 98, regardless of wide body or not, they removed the basket case handle, and they put the light up there for the third brake light.
Can you explain this license plate for those that don't get it?
So it's a C2S, right? Carrera 2S is like the model. ZLMC is from my Porsche rabbit hole. ZLMC is basically a mountaintop village that the elder Porsche went to. They bought like a place out there, I think after he got released from prison or something. And then he brought his whole family there. That's where they retired. So I just went a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole and put it.
That is deep.
It's kind of stupid, but whatever.
Right, the Luca Cult sticker.
Ready to go for a drive? You ready to go drive? Let's go.
Okay, so I noticed on the 993, this little pull is so nice and stiff and solid. It feels totally different than any other 911 that I've looked at. And the door is very solid. I mean, 911s are known for having solid doors, but this is even more so. All right, so we're sitting in the 993. The first thing I notice is how cushy the seats are.
Oh, yeah.
It already feels like refined, modern. The handle is even different than my 3.2, which I think it's different than the 964, my dad's 964.
The 964 is probably closer to the 3.2 grip, yeah. So 964 used a lot of similar parts than the outgoing one. So the 993, they refreshed a lot of the stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's start.
See if you can
start.
start.
Yeah. Anything I need to do?
Well, let's try it first.
Okay.
Let's see if it starts. It doesn't start. Okay, so turn off. So one of the complaints of this car, tricks, is the immobilizer, right? Which is just an alarm system, but you got to turn it off and on. And I think you have a certain amount of time after it unlocks to start the car.
Oh, okay.
And if you don't, then it won't start. So basically, there's just a button on the fob.
Oh.
Just lock it. No, the other button on the actual fob. Lock it.
Okay, yeah. Lock it.
Yeah, lock it. Okay, now unlock it.
Okay.
And I have to start within like a minute or something. Otherwise it won't. There you go. And honestly, it works now because valets can't start my car. Right. They're like, yo, your car's broken. I'm like, nah, you just gotta hit the button like 10 times.
G50 is so different, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Am I neutral right now?
Yeah, you're neutral.
That's neutral?
Yeah. In.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there's also the short shifter kit on this, so I probably changed the feel a little bit.
Yeah, it feels a little foreign to me.
Yeah.
I also noticed the kind of thickness here of the lower dash.
Yep.
Right, because that's where they put the glove box.
Yeah.
Right? Because the glove box here became an airbag.
Yep.
So they added that lower dash, which I think is just like a cigarette lighter or a dash.
Man, you teaching me stuff about my car.
That's what it's for. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so much lighter clutch, I feel, or much more. Okay, so first impressions, I've gone like 20 feet. Feels heavier.
Yeah.
Much heavier than the 73.5.
For sure.
The steering wheel and everything feels more modern. This kind of reminds me of, I had a 98 BMW 3 Series that I drove for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Reminds me of that, actually. The smell of leather seems similar. The feel. Oh, the brakes.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Brakes work.
The difference in the brakes compared to the 73.
Yeah. And it's the same generation as your 3 Series, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, everything's around that time.
I still feel very much at home here.
Yeah.
I still got my 5 gauges. Still got everything really in the same place.
I think this is before, Porsche goes super modern with the 996.
Right.
And changes all the dashes and all the controls and everything.
So wait, you do have an aftermarket exhaust?
I do. Just a muffler exhaust, yeah.
Okay.
So it's Fisker Stage 3, so it's loud. It's the loudest one. I feel like it fits the persona better. Yeah, roll that up, it's gonna be loud.
You can hear us.
It fits the persona of the car better, I think, with that loud exhaust.
This car feels like tight. It feels, I don't know how to describe it. It feels like one cohesive unit.
Yeah.
As opposed to the older cars that all feel a little bit disjointed, maybe.
Yeah. It feels modern. It feels like a modern car.
Yeah,
right?
it
It
does
feels
feel
like a
like a
modern
modern
car. It's 25 years old though.
Yeah.
But it's thoroughly modern. I think Porsche did some suspension, new suspension on this vehicle when it came out. Obviously OBD2 on it.
The short shift kit is
It's
nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's, I've driven a 964 before, my dad's, who many of you have seen, and that, I didn't actually enjoy the G50 that much.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel as mechanical.
Yeah.
This feels more mechanical. It's like a refined version. Why do I keep...
You're good. It takes a little getting used to.
Yeah.
I think it might be the short shifter kit, because I don't feel like this should be too off of the 964.
Yeah.
It should be just a little evolution of it, but actually I don't know.
And maybe it's just like my dad's, transmission is different, right? Has a different amount of miles on it. This got 97,000 miles on it. I don't know why I'm stopping. This is not a stop sign. This is fun.
Yeah. This changed to a 6-speed. I don't know if the 964 is a 6-speed. It might still be a 5-speed.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shifter is very beefy.
Yeah.
It feels solid. Our 915s are a little...
Yeah.
Like, you have to know how to drive it.
I think the 915s, you got to be more methodical in your shifts. Like, you got to make sure the clutch is fully depressed. You got to make sure, you don't try to rush it in. Mm-hmm. I think you can be a little bit more reckless with these G50s later models. It still feels really good.
Yeah.
But I think you can kind of be more aggressive with the shifting, and you're not going to get punished if you shift too early or
right. Yeah, there's no...
Yeah. You do that in the 915, game over. You're going to hear it. You're going to apologize to your car. Sorry, babe.
All right, let's see what power I can get out of this thing here. Woo! I'm not good at the clutch on this one.
I know, it takes a little getting used to.
Yeah, I mean, the power on this is modern power.
Yeah, modern power.
This is modern power.
It's not get you in trouble power,
no.
But it's definitely, you can pick up some speed quickly.
Yeah, that's great. This car is Isn't it funny how every 911 that you drive is specific, interesting, has their own quirks? I see why. People that don't know about Porsches think we're all crazy for having multiples of these.
No, we are crazy, dude.
Well,
no, 100%. There is a craziness involved in it, but I know where you're going with it, right? Like,
you see why you could have one of each generation.
Yeah.
Easily, at least one of each generation.
Yeah.
And enjoy them all.
Yeah.
And say, no, I'm going to drive this one because I'm doing, Canyon, or I'm going to do this one because I'm going to be on the freeway for a while.
I think that's a credit to Porsche, right? Like they it's evolution, not revolution, or whatever it is they're saying. Like each car evolves a little bit, but they just focus on bringing the best out of the car, right? How do we maximize it? And I feel like most people that, whatever generation they may have, long hood, 993, 964, G body, they're gonna learn to drive that car. They're they're going to appreciate it, and they're going to probably be the best to drive that car, because each one takes a little bit of a different driving style, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's the clutch, whether it's the transmission, whether it's the, you know, the ride, the suspension, like, you know, you really become intimately aware of how your car generation drives.
Yeah.
You know, and how to get the most out of it.
And how do you go from going to the 73 to the 993? Do you immediately get it, or do you have like a thing where you'll blast the clutch up super hot? Or,
I think it takes a little bit.
You need
getting
like 2 minutes.
It takes a little while, and you know, I think we did on your other video. My 73 is my daily, so that's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
So when I take it out, when I take the 993 out, I definitely gotta, you know, kind of get used to the clutch feel. But you know, I think they're all kind of in the same spirit, you know, kind of with the weight in the back, you know, how to get the most out of it. But I definitely don't push this one as much as I push my 73, because I don't know where the limits on this one are as much. I just don't drive it as much.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem with some of these vehicles as they kind of creep up in value. You don't want to drive it that much. So I'm trying to get over that mental hurdle with my cars.
I'm completely over that.
Yeah. You're like, whatever, I'm just going to drive it.
My plan is to never sell these cars.
Yeah.
So I don't care what they're worth.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, if I die tomorrow, I want to say, like...
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
I mean, I've driven my 911, my 997.2. I've driven to Arizona.
Yeah.
I've driven it to Vegas. You know, I've driven all over the place. And now that I've had my Targa for a year, I go, you know, 100 miles round trip all the time.
Yeah.
You know, almost every week.
I think what we need to do is do one of those rallies.
We need to do.
You know what I'm saying? I think the Baja Rally, I think, is the one that's around here. There's one that goes to Mexico.
Yeah.
There's like another one that goes out of like Bishop. They kind of climb up this like little hill rally right there.
The brakes on this car are fantastic.
Yeah.
They're great.
It's a modern car, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you say it's kind of heavier. You know what's funny is that this, I think, is the heaviest iteration before the 991.
Oh, really?
Because I know the 996 is lighter than the 993, which is the next model. I don't know the weight on the 997, right? But this is definitely one of the heavier ones. And I think a little bit has to do with build quality, right?
Yeah.
Probably as they mass produced. The 996 was when it kind of piggybacked off of the Boxster. They started using similar parts. They probably used composite stuff more to like lighten it, which is great for weight savings. You know, people have their complaints with the 996, because I think one of the first things people complained about the 996 was that it shared too many parts with the Boxster, and people were spending money on 911. They want 911 to be different,
right?
But I mean, you know, getting it streamlined is how Porsche was able to make that money to introduce the GT3, or introduce like other stuff where they're losing money on every unit they're selling.
Right.
You got to mass produce so you can give the people what they want, which is the fun stuff. You can't be producing, you know, GT3s for everybody. You got to mass produce one market, get the profit margins, and then you can make the fun stuff.
So what do you think about the 993 for someone, because this is what I said about my dad's 964. Okay, my dad's an older guy. He doesn't want to deal with all the little quirks of, you know, long hoods, or even 3.2s, or, you know, 915 shifting and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think about the 993 for someone that wants more classic looks?
Yeah.
They want air cooled, but they want more, you know, like the seat. I could sit in this seat for 5 hours.
Yeah. No, I think the 993 is kind of the sweet spot of like the vintage feel.
Yeah.
With a modern AC, modern, you know,
That's
comfort.
true. Yeah, we're in here. It's hot outside.
Yeah.
I've got a sweater on. And I'm comfortable.
The AC works fine.
Works.
You might have to do some adjustments, because I had to recharge the AC a couple times. And I'll tell you something really interesting, which I learned from my cousin. Shout out to my cousin. He's helping me learn a lot about cars. If you run the AC all the time, it actually preserves the AC, because I think the way that the evaporation system works, and, you know, changing the molecules from, you know, to create the refrigerant, the cold feel, you keep it running, it'll actually last longer. Because before I would recharge my AC, and then I wouldn't turn it on. Right. And then next summer it's not working.
Interesting.
So since we recharged it, I leave it on all the time. But I just change the temperature to have it like warm or cold. So it's always running. And I've had this AC on like almost a year now, and it hasn't really lost its charge.
So I probably need to do that on
my car. You
charge
it and leave it on all the time. Just change the temperature.
Okay.
I don't know if that science is right. I'm sure there's some scientists out there, and they'd be like, yo, that's absolutely wrong.
They'll comment.
They'll
Believe
comment
me.
like, yo,
They will
you're
comment,
absolutely
yeah.
wrong.
And we want you to comment because we want you to teach us if we don't know anything.
But it seemed to work.
One thing I really do like about the 964 and the 993 is the
AC unit.
AC unit.
Yeah, it's modern.
It makes so much more sense.
The old one is like 2 knobs on one plane. You don't know where it goes.
You know, I've watched so many videos on what it means, and I still get it mixed up.
Yeah.
I've talked to people. I remember I was talking to some guy. He was like probably in his 80s. He's had his 911 for 40 years. He's like, I still don't know how to use it.
He's like, I don't use it.
Yeah.
I just roll down my windows.
Yeah.
Put a little fan on there. Just
That's
blows
right.
your face, dude.
Yeah, let's see if I can not. Oh, I'm back.
There
Getting
we
better.
go. See?
Getting better.
But see, the Porsche rewards you for like your effort. Like, you know, you get better and better. You feel better. You get more confident in it.
This car sounds so good. Too.
Oh man, it's. I think you know, people say that it's the best of the air cooled, and you know, you can argue with that, but it's definitely the last of the air cooled, right?
I would say it's the best of the air cooled. I think the only thing why people wouldn't say that is because of the front lights.
For the front lights,
I think there's people that will say it's not their favorite.
Yeah.
But you have. I mean, it's the most modern.
For sure.
So it's got the most technology. Yeah. They've thought about more things. They've fixed more mistakes.
Yep.
So I think it's definitely the best of the air cooled when you talk about performance, handling.
Yeah. It's a fun car, man. So what do you think about the N993?
I love it, actually. I think it is heavy. It feels heavy. But that heaviness comes with a certainty that it's not going to get squirrely, that it feels solid, it feels well built. Yeah, that's it. Like the build quality feels like you could beat this thing up.
Yeah, you definitely can take McRae. Yeah, you definitely can take it. It takes a little bit of a beating. But a lot of it is, pick what your favorite aspect is, and I think there's a Porsche 911 that will give you what you want. If you want it light, squirrely, if you want a little more planted, the one that the 4S is even more planted, right? All-wheel drive is basically a turbo with an NA engine, and it's way planted. So it just really depends on what you want.
Porsche has a 911 for everybody. Just listen for that, okay? You want one, you want a certain experience, they've got it.
Yep.
So I hope you guys liked the review on the 993. It was a great car to drive. It was a really nice balance of modern and new. So please like and subscribe. I'm just an enthusiast like you guys. I'm not a professional YouTuber, but I appreciate all the support. Thanks.